So consequently, they really had predicted that Blanco, who I was running against at that time, would win the election. And it was really discouraging. And here we had made all this effort. We had walked the district 1.5 times, had tons of volunteers that were out there, had put together enough money to have some very, very solid mail pieces that we had sent out. We had done everything right that you could possibly do. And the LA Times, a week before the election, had predicted, can't win it, you know. So it was what was fascinating that day is that the first call I got was from a very hostile and angry Joy Picus. Do you remember Joy?
Oh yeah, I still know her. Yeah, she's still there.
Joy was fit to be tied. I mean, my God, she just, you know, and she doesn't say any unkind words, but she had a lot of unkind words to say that day. If you know Joy at all. And she was really upset. She was, Gloria, I'm going to be down there. I'm bringing 10 people. We're going to make phone calls. I'm going to get money for you. I'm going to do this. Then the next call was Maxine Waters, who was equally as upset, and talked about how unfair this all was. So little by little, all the women who were reading this article started joining our campaign. And what was interesting, we had already walked the district 1.5 times. We had called it to the point of exhaustion. They all started raising money, so we came up with this additional $6,000 that we had not budgeted for. So we went and did some radio spots in various radio stations. That's what we could afford at the time. But anyway, I was successful. And so in 1982, I became the first. And I really have always thanked so many of my volunteers and so many of the organizations ever since. And you know, I'm not a big fan of politics. I don't do it very well. As you know, I went up to the legislature, and my first battle was with the governor and Willie Brown, and you know what happens to you with that. But at the same time, representing my community was the most important thing. And of course, I fought the governor and Willie Brown on building a state prison in East LA. And we were able to successfully do that and beat them on it. Right now, if there was a state prison in East LA, you would have no arts district downtown. You'd have a very, very different situation that was going on, because that's where it would have been built. And then of course I decided to run for the city council again, went to the guys, sort of asked not so much their permission, but letting them know I was going to do it. Of course, they rejected me again, and they put up their own candidate. And we did the same thing again, and we beat them in the primary, so it was really wonderful. So I went on to serve on the city council. And one of the things I found is that from being in the legislature and working on the city council, I love the aspect of being hands-on. I don't know if it's all of you, but we as women are so very different as to how we handle issues. We want to know everything. We want to be problem solvers. We want to figure things out. And so it was just wonderful to get involved in these city issues and deal with all kinds of issues, from development to budget to all that was going on in the district to constituents. It was just terrific. So then when, of course, the opportunity came up again, we had fought under reapportionment way back in 1980 and had gone all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. We went and, of course, fought for against LA County that they had violated the Voting Rights Act, and we felt very strongly at that time that they should create an opportunity district, which they did. And many of you were part of that campaign as well and helped in many ways. But I ran against 11 other candidates and became the first Latina ever elected, or Latino ever elected, to the County Board of Supervisors, that have been serving there for 23 years and retired from there in November. I tell you all of that story because it really has been the kind of story of empowerment and that has been there. But the issue as well is that I really have loved public policy, and I really think that's the work that I do best. I'm not great at politics. I never raise as much money. I don't, do all of the politically correct things that I'm supposed to do. I love my independence, and so I'm not a yes person to a lot of folks, and it gets me into a lot of trouble. But at the same time, I feel very strongly about what I do and usually can explain myself as to why I take a position that I take. And so I have been a part of that, and I have loved that. And I